Well, Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel has run into his first challenge since joining the cabinet. Accusations from the president of Afghanistan that the United States is working with the Taliban. Hamid Karzai said the U.S. is trying to frighten Afghans into thinking that if coalition troops leave next year as scheduled, the violence in the country will get worse. The comments came as Secretary Hagel was making his first trip to Afghanistan as defense chief. He rejected President Karzai's comments.
We did discuss those comments. I told the president it was not true that the United States was unilaterally working with the Taliban in trying to negotiate anything. The fact is, any prospect for peace or political settlements, that has to be led by the Afghans.
Joining us this morning is Jeff McCausland, CBS News military analyst and retired Army colonel. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Anne-Marie, it's good to be here.
So we heard the defense secretary deny the accusations. The new top commander in Afghanistan, General Joseph Dunford, said this is a complete falsehood. In fact, he said that Karzai's never said that to him, to his face. These accusations that the U.S. is working in cahoots with the Taliban to make Afghanistan seem more violent. Where did this come from?
You know, it's really odd, Anne-Marie. President Karzai in the past has made these kind of incendiary statements. One time he accused us of firing rockets at a Loya Jirga he was conducting with Afghan elders. Another time he accused us of flying Taliban around in helicopters. So he's made these in the past. Normally it's as an appeal, many believe, towards populism, towards the Afghan population, an assertion of sovereignty, and I think part of this may be a backdrop to the ongoing negotiations between the United States and Afghanistan for a base security agreement. And also, of course, next year, 2014, are Afghan national elections. Now, by Constitution, Karzai is not allowed to run, but many people believe he'll try to find some mechanism to skirt those requirements in the Constitution and perhaps run for re-election of Afghan president. So it's some combination of all those things. And finally, of course, as you suggested at the top, testing in many ways, I think, these new leaders, General Dunford, a commander in Afghanistan, as well as a brand new Secretary of Defense, who just happened to be in the country when he made these particularly incendiary comments.
Now, our new Secretary of Defense, Hagel, says that he's met Karzai before. They've known each other since 2001. They have some sort of a relationship, but this sort of talk, what do you expect this will do? How will this affect the relationship between the United States and Afghanistan moving forward? Well,
it'll make it very difficult. You know, this is a very, very important year. Only a couple of weeks ago, of course, President Obama in the State of the Union address announced two things. One, that U.S. forces will be cut in half by February of 2014. And of course, all U.S. forces would be out of Afghanistan by the end of 2014. He also said that, you know, security in Afghanistan would largely be turned over to Afghan forces by this spring. So Secretary Hagel has got to negotiate all that, plus negotiate that base security agreement I mentioned a moment ago about what will be the future of any kind of force after 2014, what will be their responsibility, where will they be based, and will those forces have immunity from prosecution from Afghan law, which will be critically important for the United States.
So Defense Secretary Hagel and Karzai were supposed to have a joint press conference. That never happened. The Pentagon said there were security concerns. There had been a bombing sort of close to where Hagel had been meeting. How secure is Afghanistan? How safe is it?
Well, Afghanistan remains a very violent place. We're about to start the fighting season, which occurs in the spring. We know there was a bombing a couple days ago. 19 civilians were killed. But it's my guess that this conference was canceled for a number of reasons. One was security. Second, some recent disagreements we've had over removing special operations, U.S. special operations forces from one province. Also, the failure to transfer a prison full of Afghan prisoners under U.S. control back to the Afghans. And at this moment, following these incendiary statements by President Karzai, both the U.S. and Afghanistan might not have wanted that kind of a public event where the president might say something or have to shake hands with Mr. Hagel. Mr. Hagel might have found that a difficult situation as well.
Jeff McCausland, CBS News military analyst and retired colonel, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.